it was really hard to say goodbye to my grandpa. But today, it's been 26 years, and it's true. You do recover. You do heal from grief. Now, in a few weeks, we're going to talk about Princess. Princess was my beloved kitty. My white kitty named Princess, who passed away. It'll be 5 years. I think it was September 4th. You know, losing a grandfather is one thing. Losing your kitty, it's a whole nother issue. So coming up in September, we're going to do a special on grief. On just how to deal with a broken heart. And talking about Princess will still make me tear up. And I'm not sure why. It's not like I can't accept that people and animals die. But I want, I'm not going to talk about it today because we're going to run out of time. But the ancestors in our Anishinaabe way, they actually had a whole system on how to recover from loss. Gashkain Moen. When you are really sad, this was a thing we it didn't start in our generation. People have been dealing with grief and loss for as long as there have been people. We all come from a long line of grieving, sad people who had to learn how to carry on after losing somebody they loved. In fact, that is the one story we all share. No matter what your race, where you grew up, you come from somebody who probably lost somebody and they had a baby anyway, And so, dealing with grief and loss it's really something that connects all people. And you'll notice that dealing with recent loss is really painful. It's a raw wound. It hurts way more. It's like, I just cut myself. Oh, it's a recent grief. Somebody you loved died recently. But somebody you loved who died a long time ago, it don't hurt like that anymore. But you still got the scar. You still, that healed up nicely. Now I got thick skin right there. I got a scar I can talk about. Because once I had grief. And so grief is, I don't know, maybe I'll say a little bit about it. When Princess died, it was such a tidal wave of grief that it reset all my old grief. You carry around this, it's so sad. Remember my grandpa? Oh, he was such a cutie. Oh, I'll be sad forever because I love my grandpa, right? Then your cat dies, and suddenly it doesn't seem like such a big deal. You're like, yeah, well, grandpa, he got old. It was his time. But my kitties died. Oh, no. I'll never love again. The world has no meaning. Life has lost all its joy, color. Being in grief I don't know if it's madness, if you just lose your mind. In a way, you do. Somebody dies, and you're the same, actually, but everything else has changed. And things you used to care about, you no longer care about. In an instant. You're like, oh, who cares? Hey, by the way, your boyfriend's cheating on you. Shut up. Who cares? My kitten died. Hey, you're going to get fired from your job. Who cares? Don't care. Got no money. Don't care. My baby's dying, So grief will, reorder all your priorities at once. And you'll go into, this abyss. This dark abyss of just despair. And every nerve will be raw. Every song will break your heart. You know? Everything will remind you of the person or the pet you lost. It's brutal. But, so, easier to talk about when you think about somebody who's passed away a while ago. So, coming up in a couple of weeks, tune in to the Princess episode. We're going to share some poems. I'll share the story of when she died. If I can get through it without crying, you know. And we'll talk a little bit about this stuff. Do you guys remember the song? Bashkode Jibik, Bashkode Jibik, Nukwejigan, Bashkode Jibik. You know, I'll talk about how we can use sage to help, you know, the grieving process. Oh, and also like some of our teachings about how we come from a long line of people too who they had to suck it up, not cry for the first 3 to 5 days. When somebody dies, ooh, it's the hardest time of those first few days, but they say don't cry. You know, if you cry too much, the spirits won't want to leave. They'll linger around. They'll be like, oh no, I can't leave them. They're not okay. Sometimes, if you're like your kitten's dying and you're crying around like a fool, that your cat's not going to go. It's going to sit and suffer. You've got to tell your cat, oh, it's okay. Go to happy hunting grounds. You know, there's a whole bunch of mice. We're really slow and fat. You can happily hunt them. But, yeah, so there's traditional things you can do. But the most important thing you must, if you learn nothing from our show except this, women must never be on the drum. Oh, look at that. I guess, maybe I'm not supposed to be on the drum. I was just going to do like a totally irreverent drum song. But they say ladies aren't supposed to be the drum. And just when I did that, I dropped my drumstick.